All right. Making my way downtown.
I hate that movie. I hate it. I don't know why I hate it, but I just hate it. It's funny, but I hate it. It's stupid. It's dumb.
It-
Should never speak of it again. I know
Okay,
it's the
then.
main purpose of the movie, but I don't like it because I know a lot of gay friends and gay girls, so I don't like it.
I wasn't gonna say anything
It's a
about
constant
that.
reminder of it, and I don't want to know about it. All my friends are gay or lesbians. None of them are straight, except for a couple. Very rare. I don't want to remind myself of it. I hate the movie. Suck a gigantic chicken nugget. They're really delicious. They're tender. They're chicken. They're little teeth of chicken nuggets. You just call it chicken tendies, and you just dip it in the barbecue sauce, and you just dip it in covering and.
Got some good ASMR just then.
I know. I'm amazing in it. Anyways, what we're talking about?
Okay, so welcome to another special episode of the Anime Match Cut podcast, where today we're going to be talking about the new Ninja Turtles movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant
Which one?
Mayhem.
The 1999, the 2003, the 2012, 2014, 2016. Which one? There's so many turtles. I like the
Stop
2003
fucking
version.
hollering at me and check that fucking attitude before I go over there and I slap the shit out of you
But
in
which
Minecraft.
Which one? There's multiple versions. The 1990 version, the 2000 version, the 2003, 13, 15.
Well, if you let me fucking finish, I can tell you which one.
Okay.
You idiot.
All right, go for it.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about the brand new Ninja Turtles movie, Teenage Mutant
Which
Ninja
one?
Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. The one directed by director Jeff Rowe, written by Seth Rogen and his writing partner Evan Goldberg. And so
He has a lot of gold in his bird.
yeah, so let's talk about it. All right, so let's just give our initial thoughts, I guess. What
It
did
was
you-
weird. It was very confusing. I love the concept of the story, but I didn't really like that they got centered in society and they went to school like actual teenagers.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Spoilers. It's
All right,
been
but
only
finish
been
your
a couple
thought.
of days, but I really like the concept of the story. I like how they're actually teenagers this time.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually going through angsty shit, and I love it. Every single bit of it. I did not like how Splinter became an actual, just a dad
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't do any combat fighting. I like the Splinter that knows how to fight and also be humble and also very wise. This Splinter was very cringe, as the pop culture would say it.
Mm-hmm.
Very cringe.
Yeah,
Very sus.
this Splinter was less Mr. Miyagi or Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he was more Danny Tanner.
Yes. I like the very beginning how they explain how the turtles were created. Basically the same thing of every concept story of every Ninja Turtle created at all.
It's their canon event.
It's their canon event, yes.
Yeah, I enjoyed myself watching the movie. It wasn't exactly what I expected it to be. I had a lot of fun. I thought the animation was pretty interesting, and I liked the
It's really
designs.
good. I love it too.
I just thought that the story was a tad bit predictable, and I wish that I don't know. I just wish that it was either funnier or more action packed, or maybe a little bit more emotional and more character driven.
I think the whole concept of the whole movie was just references in pop culture and the dialogue.
Yeah, because
There were no fighting. There were no much of conflict. It was just them referencing pop culture and doing random shit, which
Yeah.
is funny, and all, but also sometimes cringe because the Ninja Turtles we all know and love
Mhm.
are just fight foot ninjas, fight the Shredder, fight other mutants,
Mhm.
fight bunch of things, and you have less only a little bit dialogue here there for planning,
Yeah.
organization, and or hanging out with friends a little bit, and then the rest of the combat, everything else of the show is just fighting and stopping plans from evil evil Foot Clans or whatever evil stuff. I don't give a crap about what it is, but they must be evil. They must be stopped. But this time they just focus on them trying to grow up to be normal as mutants, and found out they're other mutants, which they were family, and they weren't evil or created to
Mhm.
serve a purpose of somebody else, which I think was okay, but also weird.
But let's sort of describe what like the story really is about, because you're talking a lot about like you're talking like about this and that and the other thing, but I don't think audience has like a clear context of what we're trying to say.
Yeah. Sorry.
So this new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, it focuses a lot on the turtles, but the turtles being teenagers, which is actually something that we don't actually see a lot in other movies or in other TV shows based on this property, because oftentimes I've always felt that the turtles act more like younger adults or more like full-fledged adults than rather than actual like teenagers or kids. So this one is very unique because the turtles actually act like, they act like their age.
And also the voice actors are actually teenagers as well, which is
that's
a very
true.
good point.
That's true. The voice actors who are portraying the Ninja Turtles, they are actually teenagers, and that's true. And so they are very young sounding. So it adds a layer of authenticity to the performances. And so this story mostly revolves around the turtles wanting to be accepted by normal everyday society. And one of their biggest conflicts is that Splinter in this one, like you mentioned, he's less of a kung fu master this time and more of a
dad.
Yeah, he's
more protective of his kids. More like he still does teach them ninjas, fighting styles, but through books. He doesn't know how to do it himself. He just teach the kids how to do it while he does it himself. But he just stops at one point, and the kids just took over because he wants his kids to be safe and be able to defend themselves if they need to. And he always tell them the story of getting milked to scare the crap out of them.
Yeah, and so basically like their main conflict in this movie is that Splinter doesn't want them to go out in the outside world, it's kind of a cliche kind of like story that they're trying to do here, because that story plot, that beat in the story really just reminded me a lot of other stories like, like The Little Mermaid or something like that, because it's just like your standard like, oh, overprotective parent has a prejudice and doesn't allow their kids to experience like an outside force or an outside world. And yeah, so that's basically like what the initial setup of the story is. And so things changed because one night they end up meeting April O'Neil after getting into a misunderstanding. They do end up helping April because her scooter gets stolen by a street thug.
Because they caused that to happen.
Yeah, and so after helping April recovering her scooter, they strike up a friendship, and April, like many other Ninja Turtle stories, she becomes like their first human friend. And yeah, so from there, both April and the Turtles devise a plan for them to like, sort of become like more accepted in the place that they live, in their world. In order for them to become accepted, April wants to become like a well-respected journalist, and the Turtles want to be accepted by society, and so they hatch a plan to stop a criminal known as Superfly, who is responsible for stealing like all this tech and working with like a lot of gangsters and street thugs. And so from there we discover that Superfly is not like some kind of like not just like some ordinary everyday criminal. He is a mutant, a giant fly, literally a giant fly, and he has a gang of mutants who also follow him and who are basically under his control, under his leadership, similar to like the Turtles, how they have like their little group.
If you guys, when you guys see the movie, you guys could tell the creatures who they are because they're quite a little famous from different versions of the TV shows. Have you noticed that? Like the pig and the rhino was from the original 90s version, and then
Bebop and Rocksteady,
Bebop and Rocksteady. Then Leatherhead was introduced in the 2003 version of the Turtles.
Well, actually, yeah, Leatherhead has been in not only just that one, but he's been in a lot of Ninja Turtles properties.
Yes, but they reintroduced him and gave him an actual character and everything in the 2003 because they went into introducing him becoming more sane, him being a scientist and doing things better, and then him fighting with the Turtles to save the world. They made an actual story with him, but in the past, they just reference him. Oh, there's Leatherhead. They save him. They let him go free. And that's it. And they don't introduce him no more. But in 2003 is the version I liked because they actually continue his story.
Yeah, but guess what? This isn't the fucking 2003 version yet.
I know, but I'm saying the references of each creature. And then the lizard is from the 2013 one.
You're talking about Mondo Gecko.
Yes.
So Mondo Gecko, I forget where he's from because I know that he was a character that was used a lot in the 90s, and he was part of the the Ninja Turtles comic book. But Mondo
They
Gecko
have
does.
a comic book? I didn't know that.
Oh, do I have to give you like a whole lesson about like the creation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I know the comic book of the creation of it, but I didn't know he was in a comic book. I just
Well,
saw him in the TV version.
Well, yeah. So, but Mondo Gecko, he's a very, a very popular character in the Ninja Turtles lore. Also, there's also like characters, like minor characters, like Wingnut the Bat. I know that character has been There've been toys made of that character. He was a boss in one of the video games. Genghis Frog. He's another reference to the Ninja Turtles, the 1980s cartoon. Ray Fillet. I've never seen Ray Fillet in anything. To be
The
honest,
fly one to go.
no. Ray Fillet. He's the fish one. The one who sings his name.
Yeah, the
He's
one,
like,
the one that likes singing.
Fillet.
Yeah, the one that likes singing.
Yeah.
I don't remember in any TV show that he was in. He's probably in the newer versions of the TV.
I know that there was an action figure made of him back in the day, but I've never seen it. But I've never seen him in anything.
Huh, all right.
Yeah, but one thing that's kind of great about this new movie is that this movie has so many different references to like different Ninja Turtles content. Because did you pick up like a lot of the references to other Ninja Turtles movies and shows?
The songs.
Okay, like the song. So yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna mention Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go. Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
The live action movie. Yes, I love that.
They reference Vanilla Ice during one of their fights because the song comes on the radio. I wasn't really expecting that because, I don't know. I think a lot of people do like those 90s movies, but it always feels like they always get forgotten nowadays, the old ones.
That was one of the first ones. And then when I heard that was from the other version after the 2003 one.
Well, actually, no. That song was used in that one, but that song goes all the way back to the 1980s cartoon.
Really?
Yeah, because that was part of the score. And also in this movie, the creators get called out a couple of times. So in that first scene where the turtles meet April and they're eating pizza and just getting to know each other, there's a sign in the background that says "The Laird." Do you know who's that referencing towards? Yeah, who are they referencing with that?
No, I thought they were just referencing the lair of the turtles.
No, it's called The Laird is a reference to Peter Laird, one of the co-creators of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They also reference Kevin Eastman, the other co-creator. The high school that April O'Neil and later the Ninja Turtles attend is named Eastman High.
Eastman High,
named after the creator Kevin Eastman.
Nice.
And actually, Kevin Eastman does have a voice cameo in the movie.
Really? What is that?
At the end, at the final battle, where Splinter has his legs broken and needs to get up. The first person who helps him, that voice is Kevin Eastman's voice. So the man who helps Splinter, that's Kevin Eastman. He only has like a couple of lines, but that's kind of like a nice little tidbit that I discovered. So yeah, so lots of references. Any references that you picked up?
Honestly, the only references I picked up were just the obvious ones. I was more focused on the story of the characters, how they were taking it, and just observing it as a fan. Because if you guys don't know, at this certain point, I am a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, and I love the whole industry of it. So I was just seeing what they changed and what they kept the same.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice any like obvious references.
Well, there are some references in this movie that do kind of like that kind of tease some things, because like in this movie we do get introduced to TCRI.
Oh yeah,
and so
of the Turtles.
And anybody who knows Ninja Turtles lore or has been a Ninja Turtles fan, they know, if you know what TCRI is, that's the organization that created the Ooze. We don't really get to see too much of them in this movie.
Well, one thing is different. Each TSI is always the same, but they already changed this one into a corrupt company group.
Yeah, because it almost seems like they're kind of like mercenaries and stuff. Did you catch the name of like their leader?
I know. Well, yeah, I can't remember her name.
So in this version, TCRI is being led by this one lady, and the lady's name is Cynthia Utrom.
Oh my god, yeah, Sinjara Utrom. They're supposed to be the new version of Utroms.
Yeah, and the Utroms are an alien race that we see oftentimes in Ninja Turtles shows and movies.
They're
Not
basically a big brain with tentacles around them. They use
yeah,
robots to walk around and function when they were stuck in Earth. But now
yeah.
this is just a regular lady
Eh,
name with the
mhm.
name Utron in it.
Yeah, and so oftentimes the Utroms are the reason why the ooze is created, and it's like one of the main reasons why the Ninja Turtles are who they are. And yeah, so in this one, the Utroms are represented by this lady called Cynthia Utrom, but in the movie, it isn't revealed whether or not she's just like an Utrom in disguise. We just see her in the movie. Yeah, and so let's talk about kind of like the characters. So let's talk about the turtles first.
All right.
What did you think about this interpretation of the Ninja Turtles?
I really like the turtles. They still
Mm-hmm.
kept it the same, but they added the buckle names, like the 19 version of them.
Yeah, so in this one they do have like their initials on their belts, which I always kind of loved. I know that there are some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fans who don't like it. I've read somewhere that the original creators of the comic book really did not like that addition to their characters when they did that for the 80s cartoon. But I actually kind of like it. You know, I don't know about you, but I think it's kind of fun. I like it.
Well, and also because if you don't know, because everyone goes up by the Bivana colors.
Mhm.
Leo is blue, Michelangelo's orange, red
Mhm.
is Rav, and purple is Donatello.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why they added the buckles is because some people are colorblind and they
Mhm.
cannot tell the colors and they cannot tell who they are by the Bivanas. I
Mhm.
think that's why they add the buckles so they know who's which turtle is which.
Yeah.
They see the L, oh that's Leo. They see the M, Michelangelo. They see the R, Rav, and they see the D, oh Donatello.
Yeah. And but also the multicolored bandanas were also an addition added to like the 1980s cartoon because the 1980s cartoon was well basically that cartoon was made to sell toys. And so I guess that's just something that the studio wanted to make the turtles more distinct. That way like, you know, parents couldn't be like, "Oh, you already own that one. You don't need to buy another turtle." "No, dad, that's Michelangelo. I own Donatello."
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
Speaking of Donatello, I have Donatello right here.
Yeah. Well, what'd you think about the turtles individually? Let's start off with the leader, Leo. I kind of like this Leo. I kind of liked how they made him like kind of like insecure, and they gave him something of an arc in this movie. Because usually Leo, he's just sort of portrayed as just like the overconfident leader, but in this one they make him a little bit more neurotic and
Like an
nervous.
actual teenager.
Yeah, and so
I really like that.
so I enjoyed his character quite a bit. How did you feel about Leo?
I liked it. They changed Leo to be an actual teenager because,
Mm-hmm.
like I said before, they were all confident young adults almost, not
Yeah.
like teenagers. Teenagers are more nervous, more unsure of themselves, like unconfident,
Mm-hmm.
not really confident at all. Leo trying to be the leader with with his brothers to get like supplies. I'm just gonna say supplies, but they
Mm-hmm.
were actually in combat. He panicked, which
Yeah.
like he was under a lot of pressure to actually give good orders
Mm-hmm.
under pressure, and it really showed that he's like the leader, but he doesn't have that much experience, which they showed really well. That later on in the movie, like you said, he had an arc where he finally grew confidence to become an actual leader.
Yeah, but before we stop talking about Leo, I want to ask you, how did you feel about Leonardo's attraction to April?
Oh my god. I cringed the second I saw Leo fell in love with April.
I don't like it when the turtles have an attraction to April. I just find that too
No.
weird.
And you already posted. We don't need to talk about it.
Okay. But no, but I really don't like it when they do that. Like that's like one of the reasons why I really couldn't get into that much of the 2012 show is because I hated the fact that Donatello was always simping for April O'Neil. And
Uh-huh.
then in this one they play it more comedically, which kind of made it more I guess less cringe for me. But man, I just don't
Kinda
like it when
sus, man.
yeah, I just don't like it when they do that. I just feel like, you know, just it doesn't need to be there.
Hmm.
But let's go to another turtle. How about
Raphael.
Sure, Raphael.
Let's go to Raphael. I love him. He's an
He's
actual
different in this
brute.
one too.
Yes, he's really different. I love him. He's actually a brute, goes loud and does whatever he wants.
Yeah, because in this one he's less of an asshole, less of a jerk. He's more kind of like just like he's more of a jock. He's more like a meathead instead of like a jerk. And and it's a fun change of pace because I really feel that Raphael, because the reason why in a lot of versions Raphael is a jerk is because of that 1990s movie, the first one. They really changed his personality to be like the hothead. And that's just something that's kind of stuck with Raphael, because we see that a lot in the 2003 series, and we see that also in the other animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie TMNT from 2007. So he's always like the asshole. He's always like constantly like in conflict with Leonardo. But in this one, he's just kind of like a lovable meathead who still likes to beat the shit out of things.
So let's go get some pizzas or what?
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah, they make him more sarcastic than like mean, which I kind of like.
I like those parts. He said it twice in the movie, and I really loved it when they were actually, really? Right now? Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Any favorite? So is that your favorite moment for Raphael?
Yes, I love Raphael. They really made him into a lovable jockhead.
You know what I was kind of almost expecting them to do, since they were like really referencing like memes and other internet stuff in the movie. I was expecting Raph to just like in one scene go like, all right, let's do this. Raphael, like kind of doing like all right, let's do this. Leroy Jenkins. Like I was expecting them to like reference Leroy Jenkins, because
that would be honestly Raph's personality, because it kind of, when he's saying like, wait, you say go loud? Yeah, I was expecting him to say Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, or like Raphael. Yeah. Okay, so really no complaints for me with Raphael.
Yeah, no complaints. I like him.
Donatello.
I would love him. Wait,
you finish. You finish.
I would love Raphael to be a little bit more meaner, because I know Raphael as the meathead that gets hot in moments, even though he doesn't want to, and the rivalry with Leo, because he always wanted to be the leader.
That might be one of the things that gets explored in the sequel, because before we continue, so I did read that Paramount did greenlit a sequel to be released sometime later.
I'm excited. I'm gonna watch that if I can.
Because I wouldn't mind that, because that's also kind of like a canon event, always like Leonardo and Raphael always being like at each other's necks.
Yes.
So I wouldn't mind seeing that, but let's move on to the other one. Donatello. Donatello was the one turtle that I was worried the most, because when I saw the trailer originally, I didn't like Donatello's voice, because his voice seemed to stand out like kind of like in a bad way for me, because the voices of the other three turtles sounded a little bit more mature than his voice actor. His voice sounded the most like a little kid, while the other ones sounded more like teenagers, kind of like
purity.
16.
It's purity.
Puberty, you mean?
Yeah. So during a certain time in teenager years, you teenagers
but what I'm trying to say,
struck purity with their throats.
But I get that
already changed. But he's probably a late boomer.
Yeah, but I get that. But also, like, what sort of worried me is like, how is this gonna gel? How is this gonna fit? But I will say that now watching the movie, it wasn't as distracting as I think it was for me, because like when they all get together and you see them kind of like say like get together and do like their memes and say like their jokes and do like their little chants, it all fits. It fits well. So I'm not too hung up on his voice that much. In this one, they don't really do that much different with Donatello. He's still kind of like the nerd, but like they change what kind of nerd he is, because
he's an anime nerd. Yeah, he's a gamer nerd. He's a weeb.
He's a gamer.
He's a fellow weeb.
And he's a K-pop stan. He likes BTS. No, but it's sort of interesting that they kept up with the times and they changed to what kind of nerd that he was. Because I remember in the old Ninja Turtles cartoon, like in the 80s, he was an inventor. In the 2000s, he was a tech guy. and now he's just kind of like, he's a gamer, he's a
He's a
K-pop
nerd.
stan.
He's a nerd, a fellow weeb. We are the intelligent turtle in our ranks.
And he wears a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure hoodie at the end of the movie.
He does.
Yeah, and
he does. Respect.
I don't know.
Respect to the Green Man.
Yeah. No, but that's really cool. That's really cool that they did that with him. And I'm glad that they didn't make him like a stereotypical nerd, because that would have been so annoying.
Technically, we had to get the
exactly like they didn't do that.
Yeah, I was hopefully when we started to watch it, I was actually crossing my fingers in my mind, like, please don't make Donatello a freaking nerd that explains everything in detail.
Yeah, no, his personality felt the personalities of all the turtles feel very natural, because everybody is not the same personality. Everybody has like their own quirks and their own insecurities and their own interests, and that makes their chemistry like very appealing. Finally, let's talk about Michelangelo. They didn't really change that much with Michelangelo in this one.
He's still a comedian. He's still free balled.
Yeah. He's they kind of make him into like an acting kid, like kind of like a theater kid in this one, because he signs up for the improv class, and at the end of the movie we actually see him in the improv club, and so they make him into a performer, which is pretty which I don't know. I think it fits. They make him less of a surfer dude and more like an acting kid. But yeah, I don't really have like any kind of like strong feelings towards Michelangelo.
I love Michelangelo. Movie. He was one of my favorite turtles. Yeah. Second place, Leonardo. Third place, Donatello. Last place, Raphael. I really like Michelangelo. He's like that goofy kid. I love goofy kids. I like the personality they give out for goofy kid. It kind of depends on a type of goofy. If you're a goofy idiot, I get annoyed. You get goofy hilarious, I chuckle. If you're a goofy lovable kid, like Michelangelo is, I love you to death. You're just like that kid always does his own improv of any situation, trying to get a laugh out of even in hard times. It's like admirable, but also annoying, but also loving, caring at some points.
Yeah. So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Which one? There's a lot of elephants.
April O'Neil.
Okay.
Don't be like that, you fucking clan member.
What do you mean, clan member?
Oh, no, but let's really talk about it.
What do you mean by that? I didn't go about it. I just because I thought you were gonna say something else.
Well, no, because okay, so this movie did get into a little bit of controversy on the internet when it was revealed that April O'Neil was going to be played by a black actress, and in the movie she's going to. Well, exactly. That was my response. Who cares?
Who cares?
As long as the performance is good and as long as the actor does a good job, I don't see what the problem
is. Honestly, every April O'Neil is different. The original one was a news reporter and an adult.
Well, Well, the original one from like the comics was like a lab assistant. She worked with Baxter Stockman.
Oh yeah, you were right.
But in like the comic books, in the 1980s cartoon, they changed
from
it.
I'm just talking about the TV shows.
Okay.
All right, just assume from me. I just going off by the TV shows. Okay.
Okay. All right. But go ahead, finish your thought.
So for April O'Neil changed a lot. Like he said in the comics, she was a lab assistant. And then on a different version, she was a news reporter. And then the other version, she's a teenager trying to find who she is. And then another version, she's a antique girl that runs her father's shop.
Yeah, she runs an antique shop.
And another version, she has telekinesis powers from an alien race that was trying to create a super weapon. And then another version, she's a freaking crime fighter. The actual Casey Jones.
Yeah. But yeah, so April, I feel like April, out of all the characters in the Ninja Turtles like franchise, she's the one who gets reinvented the most. Because you just mentioned like all the different versions of April O'Neil. So and
some of them even became a different race as well. The beginning started white, and then a little bit Asian, a little bit of mixed, and then it became brown, and then brown again.
Yeah,
and then black.
Well, actually, in the original comic books, April O'Neil, her design is based off of Kevin Eastman's ex-wife, and his ex-wife was a biracial woman. So she wasn't always white. Like in the beginning, she wasn't always white. The thing about April O'Neil always being white is because of the 1980s cartoon. The studio did not want to have a non-white female lead in their cartoon. They were just like, nope, no, 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 no. We don't want no flavors. We don't want no spice. Yeah.
No spicy tortilla for any of us.
So for the longest time, April O'Neil has always been portrayed by like white actresses or designed to be like a white woman or a white girl. But I really didn't have a problem with April O'Neil in this movie.
I did not either.
I really like the actress who portrays her. I think her name is Ayo Ebiri. She's a comedian and a voice actress, and she's very funny. She's been on like other shows, and I've seen her on other stuff, and I was actually glad that they casted her. Her actress is in a movie that I want to see later this month called Bottoms. It's kind of like a female fight club, and so I can't wait to see her in that. But I'm glad that they chose her for the voice actress. She did a really good job, and I like the way that she was like very active with the turtles. She wasn't just a damsel in distress. They really didn't have to like save her all that much in the story, and she actually helps them out pretty good. I like what they do with her at the end of the movie, where like she goes into like the TV station. Oh, and the TV station also is another reference. Channel 6. That was
yes, the original where April used to work.
Exactly. And so I like what they did with April in this one, because I don't care if they casted like a black actress or whatever.
I don't care about that neither.
Yeah, but like, but there's like some people like on the internet who like, they're racist or they want to fetishize cartoon characters and stuff, and they're like, my dick can't get hard if April isn't a ginger white woman.
Disgusting degenerates. And
Exactly.
Also, funny thing is, after that movie, I kind of wanted to see if there was already art. There is. There's already art.
Oh, yeah, that's Rule 34 of the internet, baby.
Yep. There's already art. And some of the fresh art that is after being released, I'm just going to say this as discreetly as possible. 1 white, 4 greens. Or in this case,
God.
In this case, one brown, 4 greens.
Oh my God! You shut the fuck up.
That was the basic of all.
Yeah, but you're the one who brought it up. I didn't tell you to bring up that shit.
Well, only people who know will know.
Okay.
Only the people that knows. If you do know it, keep it to yourselves.
Yeah, but no, I thought April was a good addition, and I like the fact that they didn't make her a damsel in distress, because I'm really sick and tired of that trope.
Yeah, that was a good thing they didn't do that. Which it was okay if it was actually needed, but the single goddamn time, Jesus Christ, calm down.
Let's talk about the villains. Let's kind of just talk about the villains in general. We don't really have to get too much into it.
I like the Fly. The Fly. I thought originally will be Baxter Stockton, the creator of the all the inventions and all that, but we find out that it was not actually Dr. Stockton, but a child mutant he created.
Yeah. So
I love that.
Yeah, so Superfly and Baxter Stockman are 2 different characters in this movie, because normally Baxter Stockman does turn into a fly. Not every version of Baxter Stockman, but that's
only the new version of Baxter Stockman. The old version of Baxter Stockman did never turn into a fly. He just stayed with the being as the tech guy, or gets tortured until he's only a brain cell.
Mm-hmm.
To a point he has to use robotic limbs and everything to keep himself alive.
All right, but let's talk about like the actual character in the movie.
Yes. So this version of Baxter Stockman, the scientist himself was the one that created the mutation and created the family of mutants that we meet in the movie. But in this version, Baxter Stockman wasn't in a very famous lab that he created a name for himself like the other versions. He was actually in his own apartment, creating it in his own home, of making a mutant family. But when TCRI, the corrupt company, found out what he was doing, they wanted to take that research and create super soldiers and sell them in the market to get rich. But they didn't want him to work with them. They wanted to steal his research, kill him, and then sell it for profit for themselves.
Yeah. And so what did you think about Superfly's character? Did you like it? Did you think, what did you think of it?
I liked the voice actor of Superfly. It really gave out the inspiration of how he works,
Mm-hmm.
and the speech and everything. Like, oh, what's up, cunt? Like,
Yeah, because
it's so good.
he's voiced by Ice Cube. For some of you younger people, you might remember him from the 21 Jump Street movies. I remember him as a rapper. He was in NWA, and he was also in Boys in the Hood, and I really like that movie too.
I love Ice Cube. He's amazing. The voice acting he did with Superfly was good. I loved it. I really loved it. It really made me feel
he gave the
guy.
character a good personality.
Yes, I liked him.
And threatening too. He made him
Yeah,
sound
he very
threatening.
threatening. Yes, it was really good. I loved it.
Yeah, and so let's just kind of like go quickly over the other mutants, like, or let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about Bebop and Rocksteady, because I kind of have like a few things to say about those
All
characters.
right, go for it. You
Because
go.
Bebop and Rocksteady are like basically legacy characters. They appear.
Yes, they are.
They appear in a lot of Ninja Turtles media, and they are fan favorites. A lot of the fans, especially like the older fans, really like Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yes, I love them.
And I've always really liked their design. I think their designs are really cool because I like the fact that, Bebop, he's kind of like a 1980s kind of like hip hop guy. And Rocksteady, he always has kind of like military like clothes and like military type weapons. So I really like it. I like the fact that Rocksteady was voiced by John Cena in this movie. I thought John Cena's voice worked really well for Rocksteady because Rocksteady's a rhino, so he has like a deep, gruff voice. So I really liked John Cena's participation in this movie. I was really surprised on Seth Rogen because Seth Rogen played Bebop, and
we all
know that I fucking hate Seth Rogen.
Yes, and the second I heard that Seth Rogen was voice acting, I didn't notice he was Bebop because we didn't hear his laugh.
He wasn't doing his regular, he wasn't using his regular bag of tricks. Like, he didn't do the laugh. Seth Rogen did not do the Seth Rogen laugh. We were spared hearing him, laugh, that annoying ass laugh that he does. And I thought it was fine. I thought he was a fine Bebop. I kind of wish they maybe would have cast somebody with a little bit more energy and a little bit more personality. But hey, he's the producer, so I guess he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But I enjoyed Bebop and Rocksteady. What'd you think of those two?
I love them. I like that they kept them the same, but they made them more angrier.
Yeah, because in the original cartoon, they were just goofballs. They were never really
gangsters.
A threat.
They were just originally gangsters or criminals.
Yeah, but if you keep watching that 1980s cartoon, they were basically comic relief.
Yeah, they were comic relief.
They were not threatening at all.
Yeah, they were not threatening at all. They were just comic relief characters. There to just lighten up the mood.
Yeah, and I like the way that Rocksteady in the original cartoon would say "Turtles."
You Turtles.
What about the other characters? How'd you feel about those? I'm kind of indifferent to some of the characters because I really didn't feel like they didn't have really strong personalities or strong characters. I did like the designs. I like
the Gecko.
Gecko, yeah, Mondo Gecko was pretty cool.
He's chill with Michelangelo.
Yeah, he's just like a stereotypical skater dude. I kind of like Leatherhead, and I kind of did like Leatherhead's voice because this time Leatherhead is voiced by a female, and she's doing an Australian accent. And she was like, "G'day, mates." I kind of like that, but outside from that, I wasn't really too crazy about the other mutants. I don't know.
Honestly, the mutants I do not know is the stingfly bug, whatever it is. They go.
Yeah, I don't know where the fuck that one's from.
Yeah, I don't know where that one's from. I don't know. I didn't know about the bad one. I didn't know about the stingray one.
Yeah, Yeah, Ray Fillet,
Let's see, which one? There was another one, right?
Oh, yeah, Genghis Frog.
And the frog.
Well, they redesigned that frog because if you remember in the 1980s cartoon, the Shredder, he created his own his own group of ninja reptiles, but instead of turtles, he mutated frogs, and he trained them to use weapons to fight the Ninja Turtles. But in this movie, they only use one of the frogs. They only use Genghis Frog. There was another one. He had 3 other brothers. I think one of them was called Attila the Frog. One of them was called Rasputin, and then the other one was called maybe I don't know because they were named after famous assholes in history. Because the turtles, they're named after the Renaissance painters. So the frogs were named after warlords and stuff. But I forget what the 4th one is called.
Huh.
Yeah.
Genghis Khan.
Huh?
Genghis Khan.
That's the one we see in the movie Genghis
Oh,
Frog.
okay. Never mind then. I'm stupid.
No, but there is another one. I don't know, Vladimir or something. Who knows?
If you know, leave it in the comments below.
Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't have like that much strong feelings for the other mutants. I feel like they didn't really do that much with a lot of them. I felt that maybe like Superfly and Mondo Gecko were like the ones who got the more like screen time and the more characterization.
Yes. But I
Um,
really like the Gecko one.
so I know that we mentioned Splinter at the beginning of our recording.
Yes.
But let's talk a little bit about him. So Splinter is voiced by Jackie Chan.
He's back. Oh my god, the Amazing Man is back. Where's Monkey? Where's his animated series?
Monkey.
Where is his cop movies at?
Oh, Rush Hour. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rush Hours.
That's a nice reference there.
Where is he at? He's
Yeah.
been gone for so long. He's been under controversy about disowning his daughter.
Wait, let's not get into that.
Oh no, I'm just making references.
All right. But one thing I wanted to bring up with Splinter is that with Splinter for the last few like versions of the Ninja Turtles, Splinter has been voiced by an actual Asian person either played by or voiced by an Asian person. So I think that's actually like a really cool thing that that they did with this one, that they casted a well-known Asian actor.
Yes.
Because I remember. Oh.
I know. I just say yes. Amazing. That's it.
Yeah, and so because in that other cartoon, The Rise of the TMNT, Splinter was voiced by Eric Bauza, who's a Filipino actor. In the 2012 version, he was voiced by a Japanese actor, same as the 2007 version. So it's really cool that they continued that tradition, and because like the Ninja Turtles are so heavily influenced by Asian culture and Asian and Asian legends and traditions. So it's really cool that that they have like one of the main characters be played by an Asian person. Again, it's just kind of weird seeing Splinter as a dad.
Yeah, I like Splinter when he was a badass, to be honest.
But he did have his moment.
Yeah, he did have his moment when he went to save his boys.
Yeah.
But I was more expecting more quickness of red skills and fighting styles.
Yeah, I mean,
he's well known for.
I mean, that's just kind of like the thing about this movie, is because this movie definitely had a goal. It had a goal and it had a purpose. So it had to like, kind of like it kind of had to like rewrite certain characters so that it fits in this mold that it was trying to do.
It tried it best.
Yeah, because I would say like, because like even in the 1980s version, because that one's like the more lighter version of the Ninja Turtles, that Splinter is still kind of like, just like a wise mentor and not so much like a funny sitcom dad that they try to make him into this one. So yeah, so I think now we should probably talk about like just like what we probably want out of the sequel. So just a fair warning, we're probably going to go into major spoilers at this point. So yeah, so in the movie, the plot of the bad guy, Superfly, is to create a weapon to mutate all of the animals in New York City so that they can create an army of mutants to basically kill and to basically wipe out the human race. Superfly, his mutant partners end up betraying him and helping the Turtles, but Superfly becomes like this big ass whale, like
mutation.
Yeah, this big mutation of different animals, and he basically becomes a kaiju and starts rampaging through New York City.
And he keeps referencing bigger monsters, like, you think it was King Kong?
Exactly, but eventually the Turtles do defeat him. And later in the end credit sequence, we see Cynthia Utrom again, and she makes reference to another classic Ninja Turtles villain.
Contact the Shredder.
Exactly, the Shredder. And so at the very end of the teaser, we get to see the silhouette of the Shredder.
And I thought it was badass.
Yeah.
He still had the same outfit that he always wears, which razor sharp shoulder pads, helmet of the Foot Clan.
Yeah. And
wears the cape as well, all shattered.
And yeah, but let's sort of talk about like what we would like to see in like a sequel. I love the fact that they didn't use the Shredder in this one, because I felt like it gave the characters room to like grow and like develop instead of just like putting the Shredder right there, in the first movie.
Yes.
But what I would really like to see from the Shredders, like I still want them to make the Shredder like a menacing villain, sort of like the same way that Superfly was a menacing villain. Like if they want him to be a little bit more comedic, that's fine. But I don't want them to make him into just a straight up goofball.
Nope, that's a big no on the Shredder.
Yeah, and
Every fan of the Ninja Turtles will give shit on you if you do that. Please do not do that.
and also I'm also curious on how they're gonna handle the Foot Clan. Because the Foot Clan, that's also like a little bit of, that's also something that always gets changed every
Yeah.
other adaptation.
Because every Foot Clan ninja changes throughout, but they always end up the same way because they wanted to have flexibility for fighting scenes.
Yeah,
To be
and
able to get away with things instead for showing blood. Because originally the Foot Clan started off as being humans. They fight the turtles, they get knocked out, the turtles doesn't use their actual weapons that they're intended, they just knock them out. And then when the Shredder finds out that the turtles are getting more skilled and more skillful, the Foot Clan being humans were no longer being effective to take them down. They're just there to get beat up. So then later on, the Shredder changed them into robots programmed to know all the Foot Clan's fighting techniques and mastery of all weapons. So when they fight the turtles, it's more harder, and the robots are more harder to be defeated. Go on their battles.
yeah, exactly. But also really depends on like what medium that they're in, because in the live action movies, they've always made the Foot Clan into humans. Because if you watch those original 90s ones, they were basically just like a bunch of street thugs and teenagers wearing the Foot Clan outfits. In a lot of the cartoons, sometimes they're regular people, but like how you mentioned, a lot of times in the cartoons, they always shift them to be more robotic. Like in the 1980s version, they were always robots, and they did that just for censorship because they knew that that the show was going to have like a lot of violence, a lot of action, so they didn't want to get in trouble with like parents and stuff seeing the turtles like slice up a bunch of humans.
Would have been better though.
Oh hell yeah. But I always noticed that oftentimes the Foot Clan, either like depending on what demographic that they want to hit or they want to appeal to, if they want to go younger, they always make them robots. If they want to go more mature, they're people. With this one, with Mutant Mayhem was rated PG-13. So they were allowed to get, so this movie was allowed to like get away with certain things. Like, for example, Superfly was able to cuss like casually. He was able to like let out, like a damn or a hell every other sentence. And also they mentioned like dying, like being killed and dying in blood a lot in this movie. So that makes me wonder, is the Foot Clan going to be humans in this next sequel? Thoughts?
For me, for this whole like the technology that they have, because you see the guns and the motorcycles and everything, right?
Yeah.
They're advanced. So I am assuming that Shredder will come out with just the robots.
Maybe.
Because in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they started off just humans, and because the technology is not that superior yet. But later on, when
which Ninja Turtles are you referencing?
I'm referencing 2003.
All right, but don't say the original. Say 2000, because when you say original, you make me think you're either talking about the comic book or the 80s cartoon.
All right, I'll say the year.
Then. So yeah,
on the 2003 version, they had humans. Then he fought. Then the Shredder find Dr. Stockman to create him. Well, he already had him. He had Dr. Stockman create robots to replace the human ones. He did. Then the robots start fighting the turtles, and Dr. Stockman keeps continuing making more robots. Yeah, more better than the last. So I think because of this world, the technology is already at advanced enough to be able to create the robots that the Shredder needs for Foot Clan. So I think when they make the sequel movie, the Shredder will already have Foot Ninja robots ready to go.
Interesting, yeah. And then also one other question I have, if they're gonna go with the Shredder, at the end of this movie, basically all of the other mutants who aren't Superfly basically become friends of the Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
So I wonder if are they gonna do something where like Bebop and Rocksteady are no longer friends with the Ninja Turtles, or they decide to go back to a life of crime. because famously Bebop and Rocksteady were Shredder's henchmen.
Yes, they were.
And so I'm just wondering, are they gonna stick? Are they gonna change like their like their story like completely where they're not with the Shredder, or are they gonna do something where they team up with the Shredder
I
at
think
one
for
point?
me, if they want to do that, I think the Shredder, if they do make a movie, the Shredder will mind control Bebop and Rocksteady. Like not like just them, the entire family. He will capture each one of them secretly.
Mm-hmm.
Mind could put out like a device on their heads to be controlled,
Yeah.
and then order them to fight the turtles, and the turtles save them in the end, and then they work together to fight the Shredder. That's what I think is gonna happen. Because if they really want Bebop and Rocksteady to be fighting with the Shredder like in the original 19 version,
Mm-hmm.
that would be a good plan to do. Shredder goes in, have the full clan ninjas, try capture the two mutants, put them a device to mind control them, and then capture the other mutants, mind control them as well. And in the very end, when the turtles were are ready to take down Shredder and stop his plan, or whatever they're gonna do, they one by one save each mutant while fighting the other mutants while trying to save one, and then going on by on, they finally save all of them. Then work together to fight the Shredder.
Okay. But who knows? Who knows? What path they're gonna go with?
Whatever path it is, they should at least have that mind control thing because they're already family with the other mutants. It will make sense if they mind control them and then the turtles have to save them from the mind control.
Maybe, yeah, but again, we just don't know. But that would be an interesting way to take the story. Also, one thing, do you think that they're gonna put in Casey Jones in the sequel?
Oh, they got to. There always is a Casey Jones in almost every version.
Yeah, they kind of have to because he's an important part of the turtle story.
Exactly, it's Raphael's friend.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know they can make him Raphael's like best friend in the next movie.
Well, in the 2003, that's what they brought Casey Jones for it. Raph and him became best friends and started knocking purple dragon heads.
Yeah, or who knows? Oh, who knows? They might actually put the purple dragons in the sequel. Who knows? Maybe that's how like they meet if they don't want to change like Casey Jones's backstory.
Yeah, that's all the reason why Casey Jones became Casey Jones because the purple dragons fucked up his dad. He died, and he goes and fight the purple dragons. Then at one point of the infestation, I'm talking about the 2003 version, and then they met the turtles. Well, met Raph first, then met the rest of the turtles, and they fought together.
Yeah. Yeah, and Casey Jones has been around even from the original comic book because he was part of that main cast. What do you think? Do you think that there's gonna be like a love triangle between him, Casey, or I mean between April, Casey, and Leonardo? If they decide to go that route, because I think that they might. Because one thing tells me that April and Leonardo's relationship is not gonna work. That they're probably just gonna end up as friends.
Yeah, honestly, in every version of any turtle that fell in love with April, they just became friends, and the April O'Neil finds a love with the other male character. More.
Yeah, usually Casey Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think and I'm not trying to say this as like an asshole, but do you think they might change Casey Jones's ethnicity?
Honestly, I don't give a crap because the I think the 2016 version, if I'm saying the year right, Casey Jones was their Casey Jones was
a woman.
It was a woman.
Oh, Rise of the TMNT. Oh yeah.
And she was the original Casey Jones in their universe. And then when
that pissed off a lot of fans.
Yes, he did. So in the movie, when they finally ended the whole series only for 2 seasons, because of it didn't really stick.
That show really polarized the fans.
Yes. So when the movie came out, they brought the original Casey Jones, wide, roughed up, and everything. But one thing when they did in the end of that movie. It's already been out like almost a year, so don't give me shit about it. Casey Jones finally find out who he revealed who his mom, which was the Casey Jones they know. Like, wait, that's my mom. And then one of them says, and there goes the paradox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, like that Rise of the TMNT, like I didn't really watch it. I thought it was fine. I thought the designs looked pretty fun. I don't know, I just really couldn't get into it, and
I didn't get into it because I was working at the time and I didn't care about it at that point. But I did seen episodes here and there because of the memes that came out from it. I seen episodes here. There were a lot of good fighting scenes. So just to give you a refresher, each turtle is basically more different than the last.
Mm-hmm.
Raphael's is more focused on being the meathead, dumb, all muscle and everything, but he cares very much about his family. Donatello's the nerd, doesn't care about anything, tries to take over, does his own thing and overthinks everything and wants to become the leader.
Mm-hmm.
Michelangelo is more the goofball, actually good at his magical abilities. He's more in tune and more understanding his abilities. And Leonardo is the arrogant leader that doesn't care and just does what he wants and be very bad at leading his brothers.
Yeah, cause that's also one of the reasons why that show divided the fans, because one of the reasons is that Leonardo initially was not the leader. Raph was like the leader of that show.
Yeah, he basically became the leader.
But fans really did not like that. They didn't like that change of pace.
No, they did not.
Yeah, and like I was said, like Rise of the TMNT is just like one of those polarizing adaptations that either you love it or you hate it. There really is no in between with fans. Personally, I feel like I'm kind of neutral on it. I appreciate what it was trying to do, but it really just didn't capture my attention.
It wasn't okay. I liked the concept of what he did, but I really don't know the real thing. I just going off but what people doing document things and saying each turtle what they were and how the show was. So I really can't really give my opinion.
Well, I mean, you really have to watch the show in order to really like, you know, form your opinion, because just watching like some lore video is not really going to show you. You're not really going to get that same experience.
I know. That's why I'm stating it out right now, just so people don't like, oh my God, he just doing this. I'm just going off of what I heard.
Yeah, but I don't know. I really couldn't get into that one, to be honest with you. But with that being said, which series is your favorite Ninja Turtle series, or what version of the Ninja Turtles is your favorite version?
2013, the 2003 and the 2013.
Okay.
Those are my favorite versions.
I like 2003. That's probably going to be my favorite. That's probably going to be my choice for favorite Ninja Turtles.
I have the DVDs right now.
I also like the 90s movie version of the Turtles.
I have those as well.
I really like, well, that first movie especially, I really like that version of the Ninja Turtles.
I have both of those.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this question. Yes. When you were a kid and you bought your first Ninja Turtle, or your parents bought you your first Ninja Turtle, what was the first turtle you ever got?
Leonardo.
Oh, mine was Donatello.
Mine was Leonardo.
You know which Donatello I bought?
Which version?
Do you remember those Ninja Turtles where like it came with the ooze?
And yes,
I had those. And you can switch them from baby turtle to regular turtle?
Yes.
That was the first Ninja Turtle toy I ever bought with my own money.
Oh, by your own money? No. And I probably saw you had that and I played it.
Yeah.
Because we were cousins.
Oh, you want to reveal that? You're okay with that?
In Turtles.
Okay.
We are cousins. Turtle reference.
Okay.
We're like cousins.
All right. But yeah.
We are cousins, guys. Turtles, mutants, where we are. We're cousins.
Yeah, but speaking of toys, like one of the main reasons why this movie got made is because Seth Rogen wanted to make a movie based on like him like playing with his action figures. Like that's why there were so many action figures. Yeah, that's why there was like so many like mutants in this one, because
I don't think I will call them action figures.
What?
I don't think I will call it action figures. I will call
Wait, what the fuck are you going on about?
I don't know. I'm just speaking to myself. Continue with your thought. Continue with the thought. I just went to my own process. What the fuck? I just went into my own process. Okay, just continue on.
What the fuck?
Just continue with your own process.
Fucking psycho over here.
Just continue on your own podcast. I was talking to myself.
Couldn't you keep that to yourself? Like say that to yourself in your head?
I could not.
You're fucking like fucking me up over here.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Because we're trying to have like a two-way conversation here. Because when you talk, I'm thinking like you're trying to say something, you bitch. Oh my god! But no, but what I was trying to say is that the reason why Seth Rogen wanted to make this movie is because he wanted to create a movie that had like that sort of similar experience of him playing with his Ninja Turtles action figures when he was a kid.
Same.
And then that's why, like in this movie, the villains are like this team of mutants instead of like being the Shredder. Because I feel like a lot of Ninja Turtles fans, like when they were kids, probably depending on like how like their parents bought their toys or like or just like whatever, they probably didn't have like all of the villains or all of the accessories in the playset, so they had to like make up like their own stories and whatever.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like for me, for example, like I never owned like the Ninja Turtles like playset, like the sewer playset. I never owned that. I never really owned any of the I never really owned any of the vehicles either.
I did.
Yeah, because like some kids did, but I was like one of those kids who didn't. Like, and like for me, whenever I would buy like a villain, I would only buy the Shredder. I barely had like any of like the foot soldiers or anything like that.
Well, for me, I had the Turtle Sewer of the 2003 version.
Mm-hmm.
I had all the turtles. It took me my family found the time my parents finally got me all the turtles. My first turtle was Leo. Then my second turtle was Donatello. Then my third turtle was Raph, and my final turtle was Michelangelo. And when I finally got all the turtles, I just made a little story, just having them be in the sewers, doing their own thing, their personalities, and then later on, I got my first villain was Bebop, and then Rocksteady, and then the Shredder, and then some of the Foot Clans, and then after that, that got sold.
You know,
then I got the Lego version of those sewers. I built it, got the Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady and the Foot Clan, but this time I had all their villains as well,
mm-hmm.
and it was great. I loved it, but it was also sold.
You know what I used to do with my Ninja Turtles? Whenever I want them to fight more villains, I would take out my Power Rangers and pretend that my Power Rangers were foot soldiers.
I should have done that.
Because they basically looked the same.
Yes.
But yeah.
Should have done that as well.
I don't know. Anything else that you want to mention about this movie before we finish?
I didn't. The one topic we haven't talked about yet.
Go ahead.
And we've been avoiding it.
Go ahead. Tell me.
Splinter making out with the mutant creature and actually dating it.
Oh, yeah. And then also April fucking like puking on herself.
Twice.
Yeah. This movie for some... You know what? Not for some reason. It was fucking Seth Rogen. I'm convinced it was fucking Seth Rogen who wrote that shit in. Because Seth Rogen loved like caca, poo-poo, pee-pee, gross out humor.
God. The second I saw Splinter talking and say, "Wait, Dad, you understand her?" "Yes, we had lots in common." And then he represents, "I think I have a shower," and all the boys like, "Oh, God. Dad, oh."
Yeah,
and
that's,
then in the
that's
end,
Seth Rogen. That's like Seth Rogen shit. I know it.
And then after the battle was done, I was like, I don't ever meet many female mutants myself, so and then just go on a kiss. And then after they're done with the kiss, slobbered, just bunch of slobber, and Splinter just licks it all up. Like, oh, God, okay, no, please, no,
yeah.
God, no.
Okay, Michael Scott. Yeah, no, that was so off-putting. They really did not have to put that in there.
No, they didn't. I was so, ugh.
And like they did that just to like make like a gross out joke.
Yes,
because
I had secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, because
bad.
Yeah, because this movie has like a lot of gross out. Because I mentioned that April has like anxiety being on camera.
I do too. I don't like being on camera.
And so when she's on camera doing the news report, she throws up on herself, and they just play it over and over again, and it's just like, oh my God.
Stop it.
Did we really need that? Did we really need to see April O'Neil fucking like puking on herself? Like, come on.
Well, they only revealed it twice. That's it.
Yeah, but even still, like,
but they keep
like that scene.
Yeah, they keep referencing it.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, did we really need that?
They should just reference it twice. That's it.
Or not reference it at all, because again, that's fucking Seth Rogen shit. Because I don't know if you've ever watched like his movies, like The 40-Year-Old Virgin, or like The Neighbors, or like any of those movies, like This Is the End. I don't know if you ever seen like a live action Seth Rogen movie.
I may have, but I don't remember the concept of it.
So in those movies, like basically all the jokes are just like butts, shit, piss, fucking, or talking about your genitals. That's like basically all the jokes. And I'm convinced
Cock.
and I'm convinced that was Seth Rogen who put that shit in there. Fucking Seth Rogen. Oh my god. And I was praising him earlier in this recording.
I know you were.
And now you got me all pissed off at him.
Yes, I wanted to end it on a good note.
Shut up.
On a very good note.
Oh my god, fucking Seth Rogen. Anything else that you want to mention?
Oh, I kind of want, if they can, you know that agent in the 2003 version where they wanted to kill all aliens? I forgot what was his name.
Bishop.
I wonder if they're gonna reference Bishop in the TV series or on the sequel.
Depends on what direction that they're going.
Yeah, that's what I'm just wondering. Would they ever mention Bishop? Because Bishop is that well-known agent that got abducted by aliens and wants to kill all aliens to never evade Earth. Then when they meet the mutants, he starts...
I guess it just really depends on what kind of tone that they're going for. Because in the next one, it's Shredder's going to be the...
Yeah, the main protagonist.
Well, not the protagonist, the antagonist.
Yeah, antagonist. Yeah, wrong.
Shredder's going to be the main antagonist in that one. I don't know. For some of these characters, I feel like some characters in the Ninja Turtles universe are too obscure to put in.
Technically, Bishop is a side villain.
Yeah, but he's still kind of obscure.
Yes, he is obscure.
If they're gonna put him in, I'd rather put him in as like a main villain instead of like a side villain.
Well, he did become the president.
Yeah, later on, but also that's more like you're really talking about like the 2003 continuity.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, would they bring their own Bishop in the world? And
unfortunately, and I'm not just saying this for the 2003 version. I'm saying this for like all versions. There's always like little things, like little retcons and like little things that they do that are unique to the show or whatever that only really stay in that one show. There are things that cross over into other adaptations, but But I just feel like, that's just one of the things that just kind of like it's probably gonna stay just with the 2003 version.
Oh, okay, but I really like Bishop when he ever shows up. I liked him.
I don't know. Some characters I think are just a bit too obscure.
Yeah, I get that, but I really like Bishop.
I mean, if they ever decide to do like a Spider-Verse version of the Ninja Turtles...
Which they already did once before.
Yep, Turtles Forever, which was a good special. But if they want to do it again, like do it more updated, who knows? Maybe he could be part of it. Who knows?
The one that created it?
Maybe.
Because originally Shredder wanted to destroy all the turtles, but for doing so, he killed himself.
Yeah, his hatred of the turtles is so much that he would rather die than have them exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, if they do bring Bishop in, they should do it in the TV series.
Yeah. But one thing about Turtles Forever that I don't see in a lot of like movies or TV shows that do like the multiverse storyline.
Different animation styles?
Well, Spider-Verse kind of did that, but one thing that I found interesting is that Shredder's like plan was to destroy the Prime Turtles Prime, the first ever version of the Turtles, in order to
the dark and serious ones.
Yeah, and so I've always kind of find it weird that not a lot of multiverse stories do that kind of plot where like they try to find like the original versions and maybe try to destroy them so that there's no other versions of the Turtles left or of whatever characters.
It's just like the DC, DC, where they made the Justice League go like the evil version of the Justice League or the Syndicates wants to destroy the Prime universe, and destroying the Prime universe destroys the multiverse or different Earths of that universe. Yeah,
and I don't see that a lot in multiverse stories, and I wish they would someone would kind of do that more, but yeah. But who knows? I feel like if they really want to show off the really obscure characters, they have to do something like Spider-Verse, where like they create like a storyline where it justifies like the inclusion of all these obscure characters and obscure versions of the Turtles or whatever.
Well, one hasn't been really created like a Sentinel.
Like a what?
Like a Sentinel of all the Turtles.
A Citadel of Ricks?
Yeah. If they do want to do that multiverse, they had to have like a very continuity storyline to add in the first movie when when multiple turtles met each other.
Yeah.
And then one of those turtles created the center of all the other turtles to meet up, and then other versions of them to meet up and do the same exact thing.
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
It will be very interesting if they do that. The same thing as Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting if they do that.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know, like, the original creation of the Ninja Turtles, like how that all came to pass?
I know bits of it. I did do research my own, but I must have at this point I've forgotten.
Like what? Like the reason why like the Turtles became what they became the things that they were is because the two creators, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, they were cartoonists, independent cartoonists in Connecticut. Like they were trying to they were trying to make their own comic book by themselves and get it popular and get it sold. And they just couldn't break out, they didn't have like any mainstream success. And so one day they got together and they were doodling, and one of them, I think it was Peter Laird drew a turtle doing martial arts poses, and they would pass along the drawing to each other. Yeah, they would pass along the drawing to each other, and each one would add like a little detail, like the bandana or like a weapon or like the belt. And then finally they decided, hey, why don't we make 4 of these turtles? And also the Turtles were kind of a parody. They were a parody of modern comics. So like the name Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's kind of like a combination of all like the popular comic books at that time. Teenage because of like the Teen Titans, Mutant because of the X-Men, Ninja because of Daredevil, because in Daredevil in the 80s, Daredevil fought like a lot of ninjas. Like the Ninja Turtles fight the Foot Clan, Daredevil fights the Hand. Daredevil's mentor was a blind guy named Stick, and the Turtles' mentor is Splinter. Stick, Splinter. And then also like the Turtles, like the whole turtle thing, the reason why they chose turtles is because in the 80s and the 70s there were a lot of comic book characters who were just like anthropomorphized animals, like Howard the Duck. So they just combined like these popular genres of comic books, and they basically made like a sort of satire parody of these things, and that's sort of basically how the Turtles came to be. They went from satire parody to just like being their own thing. And so it's very interesting where like ideas come from, and how like, just like the dumb idea that you come up with your friend in your living room then becomes like a multi-billion-dollar franchise later on.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on the movie? Well, let's give our ratings. How would you rate Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem 1 out of 10? Or do you want me to go first? Because I haven't.
I had to think about it.
Even though I enjoyed myself watching the movie, I still felt that there were some parts that just didn't gel with me. Some of the humor didn't gel with me.
Same.
And I feel like the story structure and the plot was a little bit too simplistic and a little bit too predictable. I still enjoyed the animation. The animation was very unique, and I liked the fight choreography. And the acting wasn't bad either. So I would give this movie a solid 6 out of 10. It's not my favorite Ninja Turtles movie, and if we're talking about movies, I still like the 1990 version of the Turtles more. But if we're talking of my favorite version, I would probably go with the 2003 version. But that's a TV show, so it's a different standard. But I did enjoy myself, but I didn't think that this movie was overall perfect.
Funny enough, I give it a 6 as well.
Okay.
I give it a 6 as well.
So really we're in agreement.
Yeah, we're actually the same on our topics about this.
Yeah.
But for me, same thing as what he said, but for me, I really didn't like the cringe of them doing the robot and the pop culture stuff. But the dialogue they say like that's kind of sus, man, and like or you had no Riz W, man, or all that. I say that myself, so I was okay with it. But the cringe shit they do, like they emote.
Yeah.
They were emoting and doing robot stuff.
I need my bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah, and just saying random stupid shit, just like, yeah, teenagers are like that, but not this cringe.
I don't know. So here's the thing. I know that a lot of people were ready to hate on this movie because it used a lot of modern references.
I love the modern references, but the thing is, there's too much.
There's too much.
Yes.
But the thing is also is like I can't be too mad because other versions of the Ninja Turtles did do like pop culture references.
Yeah,
because
but they didn't do it like extensively.
yeah, but I think just in general, like on principle, I don't think it's wrong. I think it's kind of silly that people are getting mad because the Turtles, they say like, oh, I like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or I like listening to BTS. Because in the 80s version, basically the Turtles were like surfer dudes. So they were saying stuff like cowabunga, bodacious, tubular. They were saying like stuff that was popular with kids back then. And like in the 2000s, even though they toned it down with like all the cowabunga and bodacious stuff, like in that 2003 series, they were constantly like skateboarding, riding bicycles, doing extreme stunts, doing like extreme sports, and that was like very popular back then. Like, do you remember that cartoon Rocket Power from Nickelodeon about like the skateboarding kids? That cartoon.
Oh yes, that one. Yes.
And also like Tony Hawk. Around that time, Tony Hawk was like the most popular thing ever. He was a professional skateboarder. His video games were like top selling video games. So at the time,
they just wanted to see the bone break.
but also at the time, that version of Ninja Turtles was doing things they were doing things to try to appeal to the kids of that time. So with this one,
skateboarding.
Yeah, with like because like instead of surfers, they were more like skaters. But with this version, they're more like weebs and like gamers and stuff.
They found their own people.
Yep, they found their own people. So I'm not too mad that they did too many, or that they did references. But I do feel like this one, they really piled on the references.
Oh, yeah, they did. Because they really want this movie to do well.
Yeah, but yeah, so... Okay, guys, if you've seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem... Tell us in the comments. Tell us what you thought about the movie.
And if you guys think you have a different opinion on the movie, just let us know. Put it in the comments. We would like to see it.
Put it in the comments. Give us a like. Share this video if you like it. Share it with your friends. Subscribe.
Check out our social medias in Instagram, Twitter, or X. Now it is.
Yeah, now X. We're also
trending.
We're also on Threads.
Yeah.
Follow me on Letterboxd at Anime Match Cut if you want to see my day one thoughts on brand new movies.
Yeah. Go check over there. If you want any more content, or actually just want to chill and just hang out, come to me at Twitch. Dragon90773 Twitch TV.
The link to his Twitch is in the description.
Yeah. If we're just here, guys. If you want to talk, we here to talk.
All right. So we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
Bye.
Tower power.
Bye, bitch.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Suck my really big schlong.
Turtle power.